Episode 2, Obamacare Explained. Who can actually qualify for Obamacare? Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Let me start with a very honest reality. Most people don't apply for Obamacare because it's amazing. They apply because they don't really have another choice. If you don't have an employer provide health insurance and you are not comfortable being uninsured, the first question that comes to your mind is usually this: can I qualify for Obamacare? So, in this episode, I want to clearly explain one thing. For an average person, what does it actually take to qualify for Obamacare? First, an important clarification: immigration status come first. Before we talk about income or employment, this is one important requirement you must meet first. To apply for Obamacare, you must meet the immigration requirement under the Affordable Care Act. That means you must be lawfully present in the United States. Now, this is very important. Lawfully present does not only mean U.S. citizen or green card holders. Under ACA rules, many people with temporary visa or protected status are also considered lawful present. Common examples including U.S. citizens, lawfully permanent residents, green card holders, refugees and asylums, certain humanitarian status, valid non-immigrant visa holders, such as a work visa or student's visa, other approved lawful status, such as certain temporary protection or exemptions. A special note about DACA. Some immigration category can change based on court rulings or policy updating. One well-known example is DACA, which stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. People under DACA were at one point excluded from Obamacare. Then during policy change in 2024 to 2025, they were temporarily included again. However, after August 2025, DACA recipients were once again excluded from Obamacare eligibility. So, for DACA and similar categories, eligibility must always the check based on the current policy, not assumptions. In general, individuals without lawful status, also known as undocumented immigrants, are not eligible for Obamacare subsidies. After immigration status is confirmed, two core conditions matter. Once your immigration status qualified, if you met both of following conditions, you are very likely eligible to apply Obamacare. Condition number 1, you do not have affordable employer-provided health insurance. This is actually the core reason why Obamacare exists. You can think of it this way: Obamacare is designed for people who don't have an employer pay for their health insurance. People who often fall into this category, including self-employed individuals, freelancers, small business owners who pay themselves a salary, independent contract or project-based workers, people whose spouse do not have employer insurance, people whose employee offers insurance but the cost is simply unaffordable. Now, let me clear up a very common misunderstanding. Some people say, I file tax as 1099, so I must qualify for Obamacare subsidies. That is not necessarily true. Obamacare does not care whether you receive a 1099 or W-2. What it really care about is this: is there an employer provide you with affordable health insurance? Some people receive W-2 income and still do not have affordable coverage. They may qualify for Obamacare. Others file as 1099 but still may not qualify for subsidies. So, as long as you do not have access to affordable employee-sponsored health insurance, Obamacare is generally an option designed for you. Condition number 2, your income must fall within allowed range. This is part of the cause the most confusing and exciting. Let me correct a very common mistake right away. Obamacare does not look at how much money hits your bank account. It does not look at your after-tax take-home pay. Instead, it looks at your adjusted gross income. This is especially important for self-employed individuals. Example, let's say an Uber driver earns $80,000 in gross income for a year. After deducting legitimate business expense, gas, car maintenance, insurance, cleaning, and other necessary costs, totally $30,000. Their adjusted gross income is $15,000. Obamacare evaluates eligibility and subsidies based on that $15,000 adjusted gross income, not the $80,000 gross income, and not the after-tax amount either. That's why many people use tools like traditional IRA or health saving account to legitimately reduce their taxable income. What income range qualified for subsidies? Obamacare subsidies are tied to the federal payment level, which is adjusted upward every year. You really only need to remember two numbers: 138% and 400% of the federal payment level. In Medicaid expansion states like California, you can roughly understand it this way. Below 138 of the federal payment level typically falls under the Medicaid or Medi-Cal. Between 138% and 400% federal payment level, this is the core subsidy range for Obamacare. The closer your income is to the payment level, the less you pay out of your pocket. Above 400, the federal payment level, under the original ACA rules, subsidies were not available. However, in recent years, expanded subsidies allowed some higher income householders to qualify due to policy changes. Final summary. So, to summarize, for most people qualified for Obamacare comes down to two key conditions, assuming your immigration status qualified. First, you do not have access to affordable employer-provided health insurance. Second, your adjusted gross income falls within the allowed range. If you meet those two conditions, Obamacare is very likely an option that's open for you. That's all for today's episode. In the next one, we will continue to talk about Obamacare and what it really means for everyday family. I'm Coco. See you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.